it's Miss Amy from the library again, and I'm here today to do some crafts with you. So today we are going to make one of these lovely coffee filter butterflies. And for our coffee filter butterflies, there's a couple of supplies that you'll need. Most of them are inexpensive, or you may already have them at your house. Okay. So the first thing you need is a coffee filter. So these can be big or small. You can get a plain white one, or you can have the brown natural colored ones. They do need to be the ones that are round like this and not the pointy ones. If you don't have a coffee filter at home, or your parents don't drink coffee, coffee filters are relatively inexpensive at the store. I think you get a pack of like 200 for like $3. So what you'll do with the coffee filter is flatten it out. The next thing you'll need are some markers. And you want to make sure that they are like washable markers. Doesn't matter what brand they are, but they're probably the same markers you use for school. You don't want to use Sharpies. And you don't want to use anything that has the word permanent on it. Permanent is a big word that means you can't ever get rid of it. Okay? So we want to use markers that you can kind of wash away if you need to. Okay? You may have noticed that my butterfly is held together by a very interesting little thing. It's called a clothespin. Okay? If you don't have clothespins at home, especially maybe not ones that open and shut like this, don't worry, there's other things you can use. On this butterfly, I used a hair clip. But you can also, if you choose, use bread ties. These are those like twist ties that come on your bread. So I just saved a couple of those, and I can use those for multiple parts on my butterflies. So you'll also need some extra paper and some paper towels in order to kind of clean things up a little bit. So first things first, this is my easel, and this is like your table. Okay? You'll notice I put down some paper on my easel because if I use markers on a coffee filter, they bleed right through. And I don't want this mess all over my table. And I'm certain that your moms or dads or grandparents or whoever's taking care of you don't want the marker on their table either. So, I've got my paper up here. Now, I've got a couple of coffee filters that I've already started putting designs on, just to save some time for us. Okay. So, on this one, I limited my color palette. Some of you young people might be wondering, what am I talking about? So a color palette are the colors that you choose to use. And on this one, I've chosen to use a blue, a yellow, and a red. And those are my three primary colors. All other colors come from mixing these three colors. That's why they're the primary. They're at the beginning of all colors. So I've chosen to only use primary colors. Did you also happen to notice that all of my blue shapes are triangles? And all of my yellow shapes are circles? And all of my red shapes are squares or rectangles? This kind of gives me a pattern to base things on. And it's just a fun way to learn how to do new things or to focus in on things we're already learning. Okay. So I'm going to add to my already drawn coffee filter a couple of more blue triangles. And on this coffee filter, I'm making it so that nothing touches. Okay. I'm also not coloring it in so it's a solid and dark shape. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and draw in a triangle here. And I'm making some of them big triangles and some of them little triangles. Okay. I want you to notice that I'm not pushing down really hard with my marker, because if I push down really hard with my marker, it's going to rip the coffee filter. I don't know if you can see that, but it ripped a hole right through the middle of my coffee filter. And that wouldn't be good to have holes in my butterfly wings. So I think I'm going to do one more blue triangle. And then we'll move on to another yellow circle. You see, I'm getting some of my shapes in the middle, and I'm getting some of them out by the edges. And this way the colors will spread around. What you want to avoid doing is making anything too busy. Otherwise, all the colors will run together and it will be one big color blob. While this can look cool, all the time you took to color in all those designs goes to waste because you can't see any of them. Whereas if you're kind of keeping it fun, light, and playful, they stay nice and light, and they kind of make lots of different shapes, and it's just very colorful. So we're going to do a couple more of these circles out by the outside edge. So what do you think? Do you think I need a couple of more squares? I think I might need a couple more squares. So I'm going to get a square out here. And again, notice I'm not spending a whole lot of time coloring it in edge to edge. I'm just making sure that it's mainly colored in, right? Okay. Now I have all of my shapes colored into my coffee filter. The one other thing I may have forgotten to tell you about at the beginning was the water bottle. So I've got a spray bottle with nothing but water in it. You want to make sure there's nothing but water in it. You also want it to be set to a spray, not a stream, but a gentle spritz. Okay. So then you're going to take your coffee filter. You're going to ask mom or dad or your grown-up where you can go to use your spray bottle on your coffee filter. And make sure you are not pointing at anybody. Okay, so I just made sure that nobody, including my cat, was near my table where I'm working so that I don't get anybody wet if they don't want to be wet. So now I'm going to take my coffee filter and my spray bottle and I'm going to spray the coffee filter until it's thoroughly wet. And then I put it down on my paper towels and I blot. Okay. And I press out all the extra water. Okay. And it kind of made all my shapes go a little bit fuzzy. You see that? And now I'm going to start at the top And I'm going to accordion fold my butterfly, my coffee filter, down. So you see, you fold one way, right? And then you fold the other way. And you just go back and forth with that fold, okay, until you have the whole coffee filter folded up. Okay, so now I've got the whole coffee filter folded up, and I'm going to choose to use a hair clip with this one. And I want the wings to kind of face the outside of the paper clip, so I'm going to fold that in half and slide it in so that the wings can sit this way. Okay. And then I'm going to clip it onto my paper up here to let it dry. And I did some earlier that I clipped to my windows, and that was a great place for them to dry. So if you do a bolder pattern like what I have here, where I did all those really dark lines, your butterfly winds up with bolder, darker lines on its wings. So it's all up to you which way you want to do it. You just have to play around with it a little bit. And please make sure you don't accidentally spray your little siblings with water and start a water fight. Thank you for joining me with Craft Time. I'm Miss Amy, and have a good weekend, guys.